Welcome back to the Upstroke podcast channel. This is my second episode. So my first 80 days in the hospital were spent in ICU and then the stroke ward, the stroke geriatric ward. I went from being completely immobile to with a tracheostomy to then being able to talk, and then eat and drink, which was a great day for me. And then with the use of a hoist, being able to be transferred to a wheelchair. And then eventually started working on standing up. It felt so good to stand. Did a couple different devices at the rehab at the hospital that would help me stand. One was parallel bars. Yes, I'm now a gymnast. Can you imagine me in gymnastics? Yeah, probably not very likely. So then some of these devices was what I call the rover. I think that's what it's called. I think some people call it a rangers. You'd put your arms on it, and it had two legs that went out backwards. They could adjust the height of it. It took 2 or 3 people, a bit of a production, to get me into the device, and then to be able to go down the hallway, crowded hallway. So I would have one person helping me move my left leg, and then another person adjusting the height of it, making sure I'm not falling out. And if I was to fall backwards, there was someone else with my wheelchair right behind me, ready to catch me. And then on days when my beautiful granddaughter was visiting, there was her, my wife. So we made a bit of a scene, the gang moving through this busy hallway. So we started with that. We'll start with the parallel bars, then the rover. Then we moved to a walker. Walker was a bit of a challenge. My left leg would kind of go out and around a bit. So I would kick the walker, trip myself up. It would also, once it was in, my left foot would cross my right. As soon as I would pick it up, it would want to just spring inward. And that's just all muscle loss, right? Not being able to control that leg and pull it out and keep it straight. So a lot of practice doing that. There was, it was actually tiled or it was just printed into the linoleum hall floor. There was a grid, like a tile grid. So I would try to align my foot with the lines in the floor to be able to move straight and not trip myself up. So even with a walker, we had 2 people, 2 therapists, and then someone with my wheelchair behind. So we were able to rock and roll. I made a lot of progress once I got into that hall. So I was able to just go. And my wheelchair was there so I could go till I dropped, which I did. I didn't drop, sorry. But I went hard. I went till I just couldn't take another step. Legs are shaking. And I was going through all this process. I wasn't going to tell them that was enough. I was going to wait for them to tell me. Well, I had to learn that at some point I had to speak up and say something because we weren't always in sync. Some days they would say, okay, I think that's good. And I was like, nah, I can do a little bit more. I'm feeling pretty good. So a lot of communication back and forth with progress and how far to push it. I had Benji, my wife, come visit daily. A wonderful woman. My granddaughter, Ivory, came up to stay with Nana for 2 weeks for Nana camp. That was great. So every day, this ball of energy, my beautiful granddaughter would come through the hospital and you could hear her coming. So you knew when she was in the unit. She makes a presence. She was there from the beginning. So she was there when I was in the ICU. She made me a brochure. I got to read this to you. Pardon the hospital tape. I don't want to pull it off because I don't want to rip this. This is Stories with Papa and Me by Ivory. This brochure is about the stories of me and Papa. Each page has a story of the past. The McDonald's test. This story takes place yesterday in the hospital. Once upon a time in the hospital, my papa was in a bad motorcycle crash, but he had lots of company. Me, my nana, and my auntie were all visiting my papa, and we had to wear a lot of gear. We had to wear a jacket, thingy, majiggy, and a mask. I had C. diff at the time, so everyone had to gear up. We call it gear. We're bikers, so we wear gear, right? So she had to wear a lot of gear. When we got in, I holded Papa's hand. Me, Nana, and Auntie were asking Papa questions, and one of them was if you want McDonald's, squeeze my hand. And you know what he did? He squeezed my hand hard. The end. This story, the Mimples, this story takes place on Halloween. Once upon a time, it was Halloween. Me and my papa were at my house, and my papa bought a big box of candy. Me and my papa ate all the candy, and me and papa fell asleep. When I woke up, I looked in the mirror and I yelled, "I have mimples," and I started to cry. Well, I had to say mimples because I couldn't say pimples. The end. When I think of my papa, I think of a big, strong guy, and he always wanted to look like Brad Pitt. So he grew out his ponytail, and that's how I know he has a big imagination too. Out of the mouths of babes, eh? So now my goal is get to be accepted into a rehab facility, and it was taking way too long, in my opinion. The guy was pushing hard. I didn't really know what the milestones were that were required for one of these two places to accept me. One of the facilities was right across the street from the hospital that I was in, called the Glen Rose. So I was really hoping for that one because it was close to home and I'd be able to see my wife, daughter, and granddaughter every day. The other place is in a town called Ponoka. It's an hour and a half south, so much harder to get to. So I was kind of selfishly, it was a tough decision. We thought about it, we prayed about it, we went through the pros and cons of it all. Couple complications with this. They had set my discharge date for September 10th. On September 10th, my wife was also going in for her 5th cancer surgery. So I didn't want to be far away. This one was going to be very stressful. It was a big surgery. The first 4 didn't work. Now this one, they were basically starting from scratch, going in, redoing it all. Colorectal cancer, just in a brutal area. So I don't know if you could imagine. I can't imagine you going through what she's gone through either. 5 of these surgeries. I made the decision. It came down to me making the decision. I chose Ponoka because Ponoka focused on a longer term rehab program. Their average stay was 6 months, and the Glen Rose was 6 to 8 weeks. And I knew it was going to take me longer than 6 to 8 weeks. My main goals were to get to a point where I could get into my house, which was up 3 stairs, and then my bedroom is 14 stairs upstairs. So I had to do 17 stairs, and they were all different. Stairs outside my house are rounded, so different length from left side to right side. There is a railing on the right hand side. That's where the bigger steps are, and then it jogs in on the patio, on the porch to get to the front door. So very tricky. So that was my goal. So which place was going to get me to this? I just wanted to get home was the end goal. I wanted to get home as fast as I could and get home and actually be able to function in my house. So we chose Ponoka. Days before September 10th, very stressful. Another move. Everything was going to be different. And trying to get these places to accept me, I'd gone through what I thought was going to be required. So I wanted to show that I had a good attitude, that I was a good patient. I thought if there were any complications, what if they don't accept me? Then this is it. There's no way I can have 3 people following me around my house, down the sidewalk, up the stairs. It's not going to happen. So Ponoka it is. On September 10th, they packed me up. Bit of a production, but it went well. Got me into the ambulance on this little gurney. They all felt so little. I always felt like I was falling off of these things. So they got me onto this thing, strapped me in, wheeled me down into the ambulance. So yeah, right, how are they going to get me in there? They did. It worked pretty good, actually. And off to Ponoka. So I'm looking out the windows. You can see the top windows. I was trying to figure out the route we were taking. Figured it out. And then we got onto the highway. And those ambulances could use better suspension. That was a bumpy ride. And the highway wasn't great either. Then I could feel where we turned off to the small town. And I couldn't really see sideways, so I couldn't see the countryside. But I started seeing trees. And that felt good. There weren't a lot of trees at the hospital location where I was at. So that was nice. I love the outdoors. And it was lots of trees. It was a long driveway to get into the facility, so it felt like it was a big area. And then we pulled into the front door. They unloaded me and started wheeling me in. Right away, I noticed that the hallways were clear, weren't full of hospital beds and rolling computers and people. They were virtually empty. So I felt pretty good about the whole thing. I didn't have any family with me on the day we moved. It was a big day for everybody. But my wife's in surgery. My daughter was with my wife in Edmonton. My dad had just had a heart attack a couple days previous to this and was going in for a quadruple bypass on September 10th. September 10th is also my mom's birthday. So it was a big day. This day will be remembered. So into Pinoka. I ended up being in Pinoka for 234 days, 7 months. I was there for Halloween, Christmas, Thanksgiving, birth of my grandson, which was another huge motivator for me. My granddaughter's birthday, all three of my kids' birthdays, my 57th birthday, which they made a great event about. We had a good day that day. My daughter came and decorated my room. We made a bit of a scene. The door. I got my own room, so this was a big plus. Ponoka is known as the loony bin around here. It was the original insane asylum in Alberta. So anytime we told anybody that I was going to Ponoka, they'd be like, no, 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 it's not that bad. Well, not quite that bad. So in the facility, they have brain injury, they have addiction, they have adult psych, they have geriatric psych. In the brochure, I call it a brochure, the travel brochure for Ponoka Looney Bin said they have a swimming pool. Well, they do, but it was closed the entire time I was there for repairs, government funding. There was also a cool little spot there called the Rendezvous. It was kind of set up like a bar. There were pool tables, a shuffle bar. Obviously, it wasn't a bar. Card tables, lots of places to sit. And they make great milkshakes. So we could take visitors and company there. My cousin Jackie was a huge help for the first couple of weeks. Well, for the whole time, actually. But the first couple of weeks, she was just all over me, which was great. Thank you, Jackie. She went shopping for me because hospital bedding was not going to cut it. So she brought me this beautiful comforter and some throw blankets, which came in very handy. At first, I thought it was a bit much, but it was not. Lots of snacks. She filled one of my drawers with snacks and treats. And I wanted protein bars. I wasn't getting a lot of protein in the hospital diet. They love carbs, right? Any facility, institution, lots of carbs. Carbs are cheap. They can go a long ways. They fill people up. But I wanted protein. So she got me a bunch of protein bars, which was awesome. Some beef jerky. Oh, and a Slurpee. Almost every time she came, she brought me a Slurpee. I loved the Slurpees. Her sister, Deneen, got me a couple grabbers from the Looney store that worked incredible. Came in so handy. I could fasten one right to my bed. I used them every day. They helped me get dressed, helped me reach the things I needed. They were great. The Ponoka facility is huge, way bigger than I thought it was going to be. It felt like miles of hallways, probably is miles of hallways. The thing spreads out like a spider, all these halls. It was great to walk in and work out in. And the place is spotless. Thank you, Margot. Margot worked in our unit and cleaned it every day, all day. It was spotless. Even the outdoors, where they were perfectly manicured. It was like living on a golf course. It was beautiful. So originally this place was on, I think it was 800 acres. Over time it had gotten smaller, but it's probably a good 50 to 100 acre property. Some rolling hills, lots of trees, like I mentioned. The old original building, a little bit of a scary looking building there, was the whole thing was set up to be self-contained. So there was the original water tower was still on the property. The units were secured, so you needed permission to leave the unit. You can move throughout the unit. I was not allowed to transfer without assistance, so I wasn't allowed to move from my wheelchair to my bed, wheelchair to the toilet, wheelchair to the shower chair. I had to have someone there to do all that. So that was bothersome for me. And then to get out to go to your programs, you get a schedule for the week every Monday morning, every day. Your day is all scheduled. You need to get permission every time you leave the unit. You would try and catch people going in groups, or you got to sit and wait, wave someone down to let you out of the unit. So that, along with the police presence there. Police had an office there, full-time, permanent. I did get used to it, but it did feel very prison-like at first. To be able to move through the hallways, you needed a yellow bracelet without assistance. So I needed to get the yellow bracelet because someone then has to follow you and go with you to every program and then back. So this was a pain. So I finally got my yellow bracelet, which also let me transfer without someone there. So that was good progress. It's all about progress to me. I gotta get better, as better as I can, in as least amount of time as I can. So got the yellow bracelet. I could move around better. One other thing they did right away is Sarah in PT took the walker, said no walker. Go into a cane. The walker was an issue because of this left foot would cross over. So she moved me to a quad cane, which I still use today. And that was a good move. I could let this leg do what it was going to do, focus more on it not crossing over instead of focusing on trying not to swing it and then trying to stop it before it would cross over and trip my other leg. So the cane was good. Then they wanted to size me for wheelchair. They sized everything, measured and tested everything. So they got me a wheelchair that fit much better than the one that I was in, the temporary loaner, and a cane, the right height that would carry my weight. The blue belt, I had to have a blue belt with me everywhere I went. It was just a clip-on cam strap buckle belt that they would put on every time I transferred so that they could grab onto it. Every time I walked, that blue belt had to go on. Basically every exercise, this blue belt had to be on. I do hate the blue belt. It just felt like I was in a car seat or something. They did have to use it a couple times, so I'm not complaining. I wished I had it a couple times too, but I didn't. They measured every limb, all your mobility, left and right, compared the two, strength testing. They measured and tracked dexterity. They would time things with finger exercises, left hand versus right hand exercises, still a little bit of an issue. Very frustrating stuff for the really small things, small pins, beads. It was good, but it was hard. I'd have to do work with marbles in my hand, rotate them. Very frustrating. Harmony balls, both directions. The two balls that you roll in your hand. I could go one way pretty good, but I couldn't go the other way. They would work with me on a mat that would raise and lower, so they get me laying down doing reaching. And at first it was just with no weight, no resistance. Then they moved to TheraBands and then weights. So progression. A couple times doing this stuff, I'd get stuck and I'd have to try and move without using my arm. And all I could think of is that I look like a whale or a walrus. You know those videos, nature videos of the walrus trying to get up on the beach. And I'd sing the song, I am the walrus, cuckoo, cuckoo. And it was hard for the therapist not to laugh too, because you gotta laugh at this stuff. If you take it too serious, it's funny as hell, some of this shit. You gotta laugh. So yeah, a couple times I would face plant on this table, this mat, and could not get up. So I needed the band, the blue belt. They tested my brain, my memory, my speech, my eating. There was another eating test where the Sam had to sit in front of me every bite, chew, swallow, show that he ate it all. Yeah, humbling. Everything is humbling. If you have an ego and pride going into something like this, you will not have it for long. If you do have it, you're doing everything on your own and you're not getting any better. So yeah, everything was very humbling. The yellow bracelet was good. The goal now, green blood bracelet. Green blood bracelet let you outside. And it was still summer weather. September, October, beautiful up here. Made a buddy, Lance, was in my unit. Lance walked with a cane. Didn't have a stroke, was in an accident, car accident. Got a brain injury. So he struggled a bit with his left leg. Lance was a funny guy. Funny as hell. Lance had a green bracelet too. And for some reason, the nursing staff would actually let Lance take me outside. So he would push me in my wheelchair. He walked with a cane, but he could walk without the cane as well, especially when pushing a wheelchair. So I knew that I needed one of these green bracelets. Lance was always talking about being discharged. It's going to be any day, every day. Today's the day. He wanted to get back home so bad. I made a deal with Lance. Lance would come in my room every day because I had all the snacks that cousin Jackie. It's like, man, how do you get all this stuff? And every time she would come, she would have more stuff for me. So he'd come in, have some snacks, take a couple back with him. So I was the convenience store. Man, what can I give you for this stuff? Well, give me a green bracelet when you're discharged. I don't know. So what else do you want? Use a pack of smokes. Pack of smokes and a couple beers would be awesome. Well, let me see what I can do. So I was able to get a pack of smokes and a couple beers. Then Lance went missing one day. Whole place was looking for Lance. No Lance. Apparently, Lance ran out of smokes and took off. We went to town. Met up with a couple chicks at the gas station where he was buying a carton of smokes. And went to their house after and partied. Then they kicked him out. I'm sure for being totally inappropriate. And he went to the bar. Tied one on at the bar and then was coming out of the bar and there was a cop car there. So we walked up to the cops and asked them for a ride back to the facility. They brought him back. He was under strict surveillance after that. They actually have a jail cell there, I guess, according to Lance. So they had him locked up for the night, brought him back to his room the next day, and they had security sitting outside of his room all day and night for the next 3 or 4 days and nights. Well, now I guess they really want to get him discharged. So they start easing up on the security. Lance asks if I want to go outside. I said, yeah. So he takes me out the side door of my unit, little area there. He's having a smoke. I'm off the cigarettes completely, still having smoke. So Lance is having a smoke, and I'm moving around on the sidewalk, my foot, moving my wheelchair. There's a little bit of a hill, and I thought we're just going to walk around. So I'm going to get started. So I started down this hill. Well, it was a lot steeper than I thought. So it starts going. Now the chair is going faster than I can control. I still don't have good use of my left arm. Right arm's really weak. So I didn't even think about using my arms. I go off the sidewalk, into the grass, into the mud, and I'm heading towards this fence post. And I know I'm going to crash into this fucking fence post. So I get the wheelchair, I get my foot down, the wheelchair runs over my foot and it goes like this to flip over. So I'm going headfirst into this thing. And somehow I stop myself before my head hit that fence post. I hear Lance yelling and he comes running. We pull the wheelchair out of the mud. My foot is covered in mud, the wheelchair is covered in mud. Well, we had a good laugh. We went back, finished the walk, tried to clean as much mud off as we could so we don't get busted. So Lance is on a roll. Get back into the facility. I go straight to the washroom, grab some face cloths on the way. I cleaning my chair up, mud all over the bathroom floor. Sorry, Margot. That was me. Anyway, got it cleaned up. Lance got discharged a couple days later. On his way out the door, hands me his green bracelet. Felt success. I didn't do it on my own, but I had a green bracelet just in case. I only used it once or twice. Honest facility. It was so nice to get outside, though. My daughter came to visit and took me on an adventure ride. That was pretty good, too. Went and checked out the insane asylum, the original building. Walked around that. While she pushed, I rolled. Knocked on the door, see a lurch would open the door. No lurch. It had this awesome balcony. You could just picture a rock band doing a rock video there. All the old windows, the old door. Place looked creepy as hell. And then there was the original driveway. It was all treed. So we started going down there and it was downhill. Pretty cool stuff. We went down that road. There were some houses down there. I guess I asked later what the houses are for. Some of the houses are actually being lived in. Most of them, though, I think were empty. Kind of a waste. They were really nice little old houses, war era houses. And at the end of that street, we figured it would circle around. We could get back to the unit. Well, it did, but there was a bunch of barricades. My daughter was like, yeah, I don't know if you should do this, Dad. Oh, yeah, I can do this. I can transfer now. Got my yellow bracelet. So good to go. I did it. Was able to stand up, move around, then squeeze through two barricades. Then she got my wheelchair, put it on the other side. There was also a curb right there. So it was a little tricky getting through the barricades, down the curb. No cane, just the wheelchair. But it worked. We did it. Thanks for the adventure, Emily. That was fun. It was a good hour and a half outside. Beautiful day. So that was wonderful. I would do that again. One of the things I really liked about the facility were the washrooms. Bathrooms were nice and big and planned out, unlike the last hospital. An electric door, so I could get in. I could stand up, turn around, sit on the toilet, do my business. I'd learned how to start wiping myself. That was one of my goals. Having someone wipe your butt as an adult is just a little too humbling and embarrassing for me. So did my best to try and figure this out. I couldn't lean very well. So I just started standing up and wiping. So having that space in the washroom was great. I could stand up, turn around, pull my pants up, get sat back down, turn the wheelchair to the sink, wash my hands. Perfect. Hit the button, door opens, wheel out. Done deal. That was wonderful. Showers are also well thought out. Water not always that hot, but I would get into the shower room. There was what I call a stripper bowl with some foam handle on it. I would transfer into the shower chair, which is basically just the commode, the wheelchair, the hole in the bottom of the seat. And I could get maneuvered into the shower. There were two shower heads. If you adjust it just right, you get a very nice shower. And then if the right staff was working like Shara, I'd get heated towels to dry off. Yeah, pretty rough, eh? It was great. Another nice thing about being there was the care that they took on your health. You could get anything tested and looked at there. I'm not a big fan of the doctor, so Benji would try and get me to go to the doctor for things. Nah, I'm not going. So I got a full diagnostic tune up at this place. I got a mole removed. I had a sleep test done for my snoring. Turns out I have sleep apnea. 74 events an hour. That's incredible. That's like no sleep. So I was able to get a CPAP machine from my cousin Vanine. She had one that she had, was an older one, still worked really good. So good. I'm still running that CPAP. Thank you, Deneen. It works great. So once I got that on, I started sleeping much better, feeling better throughout the day. Stopped having to take naps. My son Carson from Kelowna came to visit. My cousin Denise came again. That was wonderful. Thanks, Denise. Jason and Jenny, my brother and sister-in-law. My brother's been so much help. He helped when they were up for the summer, so that was great. And Jason helped tons around the house, getting it ready for me to come home. Shelby, my daughter, her new baby, and Ivory, and Rick came several times. Emily was there every weekend. Benji was there when she could, after she healed up from her 5th and 6th surgery. She came to visit, and it was nice because they could stay at Jackie's house. Ivory got to stay there once as well. Jackie spoiled the hell out of her. Every time the girls would leave Jackie's house, they left with clothes, food. You're too kind, Jackie. Benjamin came to visit me while she was staying at Jackie's, and she had. I said, "Yeah, we got to get out of here. Take me out for something to eat." So she's like, "I don't know. Are you allowed?" "Yeah, I'm allowed." "Do you know how to get in the truck?" "Yeah." We did it with Emily, and I can show you. They gonna let us? Oh yeah, they'll let us. So we asked the nurses if we could go out for a bite to eat. Yep. And she's like, "What? You're letting me take him out of here by myself?" Oh yeah, I got this. All good, baby. So I show her how I did it with Emily and with Sarah, learning how to get in and out of the truck. We did that on one of Emily's previous visits, so it was all good. Got in the truck just fine. I was gonna go without incident. I was sure of it. I had to get in the passenger's rear side. For some reason, I just couldn't get my leg turned to get in the passenger side front seat. So I had to get in the driver's side rear. Right. I could grab the handle inside and there was another grab handle on the left side. I was able to stand on the running board, pull my butt up, get my butt on the seat, and then turn in. I just needed help with my left leg getting it turned in. I was like, yeah, we got this. So yeah, I got in the truck. Off we go. Felt like we were running away as teenagers or something. We went and got some burgers. Went and sat at a park. Had supper. It was wonderful. Then I had to pee. Benji's like, "Okay, well, we got to go back to the facility then." No. I got a better idea. I'm a biker. I want to be in the country. We're in the middle of the country here. Let's just drive out of town. We'll find a gravel road. I can get in and out of the truck now. And we'll take a pee out there. I don't think it's a good idea. Trust me, it's a good idea. So off we go. It didn't take us long. Find a gravel road out of town. Beautiful. Trees on the right hand side, farm field on the left. There was a pullout on the left hand side in the opposite direction of the traffic. So I know you're not supposed to do that, but I said just pull over right there. That'd be great. I can get out this side. So she pulls in there. My brain just went hop out and take a pee. So I opened the door. She's not even out of the truck yet. I open the door and I fall out of the truck. Hurt my shoulder on the way out. Tried grabbing the grab bar. No go. Oof. Onto the dirt. Face is in the dirt. Laying on my left side. This is a problem. I roll onto my back. My shoulder looks like it's bulged out. I'm thinking I probably dislocated my shoulder. So I asked my wife, just step on it. Step on it and pop it back in. I am not stepping on your shoulder. But I could push on it. I said, okay. So she pushed on it. It seemed to move a bit, and it did feel better. So now, how am I going to get back up and get into the truck? So we'll grab my blue belt. Where is it? It's in the pocket on the back of my wheelchair. We left your wheelchair at the facility. We just left it inside the door. Oh, yeah. Well, we should have straps in the truck. I usually add straps in the truck under the back seat. So she looks, found a strap. Okay, good. Now just help me get turned over. I'll get on my hands and knees. My knee's bleeding pretty good. Scraped it up. Covered in dirt, head to toe dirt. I got turned over, got on my hands and knees. So I'm looking at the ground. I can barely hold myself up. So my right arm's doing most of the work, but I am able to hold myself up enough. I feel her get the belt around me. Then I hear she grabbed a ratchet strap, which are not the easiest things to use if you don't use them a lot. But she got it cinched up. All right, that's that enough. She got this belt on. Okay, now just help me, turn me. So she got over me. Now she's fresh out of surgery too, remember? So she's not feeling the greatest. She gets me turned. Was able to get my hand on the sill, the bottom rocker of the truck door, and was able to get my feet under me. She would scooch them under. I stood up and got in the truck. So we're sitting there. What just happened? We laughed so hard. What a dumb move that was. Now I'm afraid that I'm in shit. Because I've put in a request for an LOA, a leave of absence, for Thanksgiving. Plan was to go to my cousin Jackie's house for Thanksgiving, my first LOA out of a facility. In, where are we at now? Was October 13th was Thanksgiving. The first one in June 22nd. So like 3.5 months. So I'm quite excited. So I told my wife, cannot tell anybody about this. She said, well, it's going to be quite obvious. You're covered in dirt from head to toe. I had these brand new white running shoes on. They're no longer white. I said, we can hide this. We'll get away with this one. We can do this. They're going to see it, Shane. And it's not your shower day for 2 more days. No. We got this. So into the facility, into the unit. Made it in, just covered my knee up, brushed off enough. My wife went and got some rags, got me into my room, closed the door, and cleaned up as best we could. Yeah, that thing of hand sanitizer in the room. Cleaned my shoes up. Gonna do it a couple times because the first time just turned it all to mud, right? But we were laughing so hard, had tears. Mud tears coming down my cheeks. How am I going to explain this thing? They won't notice. The blood cleaned up off my knee. It was pretty good. Scratched up pretty good. So anyway, never got caught that night. I had dressing as a program at 7 o'clock Wednesday morning. So I was a little nervous about that. The lady that taught me how to get dressed, her name was Brenda. Brenda is a captain straight edge. By the books, Brenda. She'd worked there a very long time. Sweetest lady, but a bit of a hard ass. So trying to hide the knee didn't work. What is that? I was there when I got here. I haven't had it from the motorcycle accident. No, you did not. I know what scratches look like. That is a new one. No. It's like this big, right? I stuck with my lie. I wasn't going to give it up. But now the sore shoulder's in OT. I had to try and explain that. So I lied about that I did that transferring, thinking, oh man, I'm going to lose my yellow bracelet now too. Well, I didn't. I could tell they knew that I was bullshitting them, but I wasn't going to give up that. Every day, my wife and I would talk. She would ask if I got busted for this yet. Can I still go to Jackie's for Thanksgiving? And we're good to go, baby. Jackie had sent in pictures of her driveway, the steps getting into her house, where I was going to sit. The bedroom was all on one level. They gave up their master bedroom for us. Thank you, guys. The bathroom, there was an ensuite there. So I'd showed the pictures to OT and PT, and that's what we worked on that week. These 3 steps into the house, and they just tried to replicate everything. Phenomenal. So I felt much better now. A little nervous, a little apprehensive about doing this and at a cousin's house, not my own house, but easier than my own house because I didn't have to do the 14 stairs to get upstairs. So off we go. We can get in and out of the truck now. Go to cousin Jackie's house for Thanksgiving. Had a great meal. Steak. Barbecued steak. Had a good time. My daughter wanted to get into tattooing, so I bought her a tattoo kit off Amazon. She gave me for her first tattoo she did. We did that weekend. We had a great weekend. No falls. No, not even any close calls. It was really good. We prepped right for it. Now I can't wait to go home. The one downside to that weekend is somehow, some way, I got sick. They tested me and confirmed that it was COVID. Still a thing. There was an outbreak going on for about the month previous where people would get sick, big yellow sign on their door, and they'd move the commode into their bedroom. Meals were delivered, and the nurses had to gear up in full gown, mask for the duration of every time they went into that bedroom. That was pretty boring. I watched a lot of YouTube videos. One of the teachers in Ed Center, Melissa, started teaching me how to edit video and do posts. I could use this for the business, for marketing. That was very, very useful. So I started learning how to do that. I wrote my story, which was good, the first portion of it. And because I was just writing, I was able to get as graphic as I wanted. And she actually read it. Poor lady. So this is where the idea came from, to do a podcast and to share my experience and my recovery. If you're enjoying the story, please like and subscribe to catch future videos. And if you know someone who's struggling with stroke recovery, please share it with them if you think it would do them any good. That first year is tough. I'm almost at my 1-year anniversary now. A couple more weeks. And to see more, if you want to see the first episode, click here. And God bless. Have a great day.